this computer. Okay, perfect. So now we are recording, and I'm gonna share the screen so everyone can see it. Okay, so we have the Hasselblad IQ150, and we name it like that because it's Hasselblad body that we attach our IQ150 back on the camera. So then instead of being using the typical film bag, we are attaching a digital bag to get those files right away in this beautiful camera that I know a lot of you liked it and have seen it in many photographers. So here's just like a quick introduction video of what is the lifestyle of using this camera. Did any of you have used this camera before? Did any of you have already access in the equipment room to check out this camera? You're welcome just to say something. Let me read on the chat.
I've used it.
I haven't used it, but I would use it now.
Yes. So we have a few of these cameras that are still on the shelves that I can allocate to you if you are interested in using it with the film part. But then also hopefully it can be checked out also with the digital bag. So I will have that plan right after spring break, or in the middle of the spring break. I'll be emailing you about that plan on how to get some of this gear to home for the rest of the semester. But
Edwin, speaking of gear, what are you going to do with the leaf backs?
Are you interested in them?
I mean, considering we got Hasselblad and leaf backs, if they're not going to be doing anything, it wouldn't be bad.
Okay, well, we have two of those, and they require a little bit more of technical difficulties, but I can definitely, if you're interested in one of those, I can definitely set up a workshop for you to teach you specifically on how to use it. And we can talk about that too.
Sure.
It'll be interesting. Yeah, you can either use it on the Hasselblad and I think in the Mamiya RC as well. Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. And if any of you are interested on learning one-on-one on how to use this Hasselblad camera with the film bag, in this time that we are home, I can set a workshop with Jared or Paul Pan, where they can go with all the details. And then once you know exactly how to use the camera very well, then if we have some of those available, I can allocate it to you as well. So let me keep going. Oh, perfect, Jared. We'll take it in consideration for that. So one of the main components of this camera is the mini SIM cord. And as you can see it in the picture, it's this mini SIM cord that is specific for this camera that without this cord, you are not able to use it. And what this cord does is giving electricity from the mechanical body of this 501 CN camera to the digital bag. So the digital bag will transfer energy to the body to make this mechanical camera work. So this cord is so important and it's so expensive and so difficult to find it, that without this cord, the camera will not work at all. One time I did the biggest mistake to take the camera to Yosemite, and I left the cord in the hotel. I left the kid in the hotel because I wanted to just carry the camera. And when I was ready with my tripod to take a picture, I did not have the cord, and I felt so frustrated. So not having this cord is big, big problem. So I will show you in a little bit on how you connect it and everything. I just want you to see it and know that it's very, very important. Okay. So another important part of this camera is to remember to cock the lens at all times. And what does cocking the lens mean? So I always show this in the class, but then since we're remote, I have to come up with different ideas. And I find out this great video that explains what is the concept of cocking the lens. So let's watch it.
Hey there. Let's take a moment and talk about Hasselblad central shutters. That's the shutter that's in the lens. It's kind of interesting how this works. The camera body fires the shutter in the lens, and the camera body lines the shutter that's in the lens, or cocks it. And it does that through kind of an interesting mechanism. I'm going to dismount the lens now, make sure that the body is wound. I'm going to take the lens off and show you how this works. All right, you see this screw-shaped thing? That is essentially the wind knob or the cocking knob for the shutter. If you look in the body, there's a screwdriver-shaped thing, so that sticks out. That mates with this guy once the lens is mounted. And when you wind the body, it turns this screw, the screwdriver-ish thing, and that turns this to cock the shutter. Now, you always need to make sure that before you mount a lens onto a body, that they're both in the same state, body wound, lens wound, and the state needs to be wound. It can't be unwound. So your body needs to be wound and your lens needs to be cocked before you put them together. What happens though if your shutter gets tripped? Just to demonstrate how that works, I'm going to accidentally trip my shutter while it's off the body. You hear that? That was the shutter tripping. So now the position of this thing doesn't match the position in the body. The position of the shutter cocking mechanism doesn't match. So what do I do about that? Well, I got to manually cock the shutter. And to do that, I'm going to use this tool. I got this off of eBay. And it's specifically designed to do this. It's also specifically designed to be used for body jams. Put it in this way. I'm not going to demonstrate that because I don't want to jam my body. Anyway, I'm going to use this little guy, and you can see on the back of the lens, there's a little arrow going in a clockwise direction. There's also a dot. My goal is to get this slot lined up with that dot by turning in the direction of that arrow. So I'm going to use this tool to do it. All right, these guys are lined up. Lens should be ready to mount. Make sure I get it in the right orientation. Slides right on. And I should be able to now fire the body. There it goes. Everything's good. That's how you recock your lens, and a little bit on what to look out for when mounting a body to a lens, etc.
Perfect. So as you guys saw, he has a tool to recock the lens when you forget to do it. We don't have that tool, so we can have the risk to forget to cock the lens. So that's why I wanted you to know and see it. But the whole idea of this is to always remind yourself on top the lens every time you take a picture. And I will show you that in a second with the camera. I just want you to see the video because it's self-explanatory and he does a really good job talking about this specific part. Now there is something on this camera that I want all of you to look. And I'm gonna stop sharing the screen because I want you to look. I have a demo here where I'm gonna show you. So how to do it. So let me get this going. So I have a setup here with the camera. Is everyone able to see? So I'm gonna show you how to do it. And then I'm gonna share the screen of Capture One so then everybody can see it. I have the camera here and I have a setup here. The light. Gonna get this going. And I'm just gonna show you how to achieve focus on this camera the best way. It's kind of hard because we only have car size lenses. So then the best way to do it is with a measure tape. So we're gonna measure from the sensor of the camera, which will be the digital back, all the way to the point that we wanna be in focus. So how do we do that? So if you see, I have here the Hasselblad camera with the digital back, and I have my object on this side. So then I'm gonna be measuring from the sensor of the digital back to my object. In this case, I will make sure that I am in round numbers, so it's easy. In this case, I'm using 3 feet away from the sensor to my object, so I don't have to be in middle of that. It's always good to use round numbers because it just makes it easier for you to check on the measure tape. So then 1 feet, 2 feet, 3 feet. So I'm right now on an 80 millimeter lens. On the 80 millimeter lens, the small distance that you can, the shortest distance that you can focus is 3 feet. So that's why I had my composition to 3 feet. So I'm gonna share the screen so you can see now on Capture One how I will be taking an image. And I will get the camera to you closer. I just want you to understand the concept, and then later I will get it closer so everyone can see closer what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna open Capture One, and I'm gonna share screens so you all can see. Good. So I'll be taking an image. Right now, the temperature of light and the quality of light changed since I did my first test in the afternoon. As you see, it's getting darker now. But if you check, I'm just setting my camera to 3 feet of distance from the sensor to my object. And if you see, I'm getting perfect sharp since the first shot without having to be guessing on how to get this image